To me, being in this band and creating an album, it's like Bed Frame is the drummer. Everything is going to be supported on that.
I was showing off, dude.
I know, dude. You do it well.
Too much acid. Like we're thinking like Pink Floyd Animals, like where they have the dog barking, but we're gonna have like a cat, like.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Mastodon podcast, episode 1, Expressing Universals, a chat with Skinner. It is Wednesday, the 28th of August, 2019, and it is 4:30 a.m. here in Australia, and I just finished speaking with the man himself. It was a very kindred, wide-ranging chat where we went into all kinds of subject matter, particularly focusing in the realms of creativity and life and psychology and meaning and life and death. It was very wide-spanning, but you could expect nothing less from an artist such as himself, and also just a human being who's being a real human being, really, because if you want to experience life fully, you need to let all of it in, including the doom and danger and strangeness and weirdness, and he has a great relationship with the weird and the macabre. I think a very positive, possibly the most healthy relationship you can have with it, where you're channeling it instead of letting yourself be a victim to it, gaining a kinship with the fear and moving through it. What I quickly found to be the case while speaking with him was that he, like me, really enjoys taking tangents and just flowing naturally, no kind of weird, regimented, strict interview format or anything, but it is nevertheless enriching and wide-ranging, eclectic and eccentric and esoteric, and yeah, just an overall joy and pleasure and honor to have him on the show, and hope to have him back on future episodes as well. So how about I just patch us straight into the chat that we just had, and take it away, Albert and Skinner, from 2 hours ago.
And this is entirely comprised of some psychosis stuff or something, but
I get that.
I feel like I'm not doing anything really. Like I'm not doing that much.
Good.
Like I'm not, like I feel not even in a humble way, but more like in an insecure way. Like I realize I'm like, I don't know, over the years and years and years, when you examine your life and you examine your shortcomings, or you examine like things through a therapeutic lens or whatever, I realize that everything I do maybe is more like desperation instead of some like brave. It's not like some brave triumph, it's more like I just want to do something that feels important because very little feels important to me or something in the world. Like I feel like everything is burdened by the like colossal waves of mundane, like the mundane nature of life. Yeah. Just day in and day out just feels.
It just hits you in waves, I think. Yeah, you're very intuitive, I think, with that. Is that there's no other way. There's no other way to be a true open empath to the world and not be trapped in some kind of life of self-contrivance. And that does come with a price, and the price is that sense, occasionally of like maybe meaninglessness or like the nothing. And when I'm like, I draw when I'm talking to Ray. Like I'll just start drawing and I'll just communicate to her because I can just hold space and be totally present while creating. And I notice you do that on the show as well. And again, I don't want to just like, please don't take this as me just smoke blowing. Yeah.
Everything's fine. Like, even though like, I understand what it's like to meet somebody that maybe you admire or something. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. I'm just saying, like, see, like you're stoked. It's like, oh, cool. This art guy like has done some cool stuff that I like. So you're excited to like have a conversation with me. I have that same experience with so many people.
Oh, dude, that's so cool.
So I totally understand. You don't have to like justify your enthusiasm.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, it's okay. I totally appreciate it. I'm
cool.
very grateful.
All right.
But yeah, like I just think trying to do something. I mean, I don't know. Like life is like kind of meaningless in a lot of ways. It's like really weird, and like it's the most beautiful, strange, cool thing ever, but it's also like underneath it all, it is like meaningless, and the end is like final. So it's weird to kind of exist in that sort of that place. I noticed this a lot lately where I'm like, why is everybody so crazy? And one thing that I realize is, or think, is that the neurotic, like the collective neurotic tendencies of humankind, I think has entirely everything to do with the fact that we're not fighting off death for another day. Which I mean, like you don't have time to be depressed or anxious or worrying about the future or worrying about the past or any of that stuff if you're a hunter-gatherer and like you're literally just trying to find some roots or like fish to eat or something. Like your life is just living that day. But I think like all we have is time to worry about shit and death and life and what's going to happen and what's going to happen next and whatever. But the irony is that every convenience is allotted to us. So it's like, the idea is that you create convenience so that your life is better, but the convenience becomes like the tyranny through which you live like this like kind of strained existence, you know? That's what I think.
Oh, dude, I completely resonate with that. And so here's the thing about art is that it replaces in some ways that engagement with the natural world and with oneself that, now we don't have like mammoths, stomping around that we need to worry about. Also, shout out to Medusa Wolf behind you. I love that guy so much. Anytime I message him, I sense just like kindred waves of introversion. He's like, I don't do podcasts. I'm like, I totally respect that, Anyway, that's a little...
He should do podcasts, though, I think, as exercise in learning to stretch himself socially.
Yeah, that's right.
That's my message to him if he's listening to this.
Yeah, I'm going to send it to him.
It's weird because I actually understand that now more than ever where, like, I used to put myself out there far more socially, but now I just feel very protective over my time and my energy because I realize like there's so little of it. It's such a commodity now, time and energy, that I'm like, no, I don't want to do this thing, or I don't want to go here, or I don't want to do this project, or it just seems like, it's like you really become acutely aware of how little time there is,
Yeah, and I saw that in the intro to your book, right? And I was reading it to Ray, and she's like, this guy, and usually she keeps things very brief. She's like her background is like she's half Egyptian, half Bangla, so she's well in this space of she grew up on that heritage of like Osho and a bit of Rumi and a bit of these people who, and so when you're talking, exactly. So when, and so when you're talking about like the emphasis on her hashtag is like hashtag no fuckboys. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing is, when you realize that there's just a population of people, like when I just, like the internet is so fascinating to me. It's endlessly entertaining. It's endlessly depressing, but it's like a subculture. It's like looking at amoebas under a microscope or something, and it's just growing and mutating. But like...
That's my patterns. That's what that's about, literally.
Yeah. Oh, cool. That's cool. But like, no fuck boys or just weird, just like weird people. Like what I realize is that the internet is sort of an augmented space. So like if you want to see yourself a certain way, you can go on the internet and project yourself that way. I mean, like people literally Photoshop their bodies to be different. It's like, and I think that there's a creepiness too about the capitalist tendency to like make people I don't know, turn themselves into brands. It kind of like to take away their humanity in order to sell something. Yeah. And I feel like that's interesting is like that just feels like the poster child concept, or like just the overarching MO of capitalism is like, don't exhibit human tendencies or realness.
Yeah.
Because then there's a chance that you might not sell something or be accepted or something. It's so fucking creepy.
Have you been living in my house? Are you like seriously astrally projecting into my house? This is the exact conversation Ray and I had. I've been encouraging her to have a TED talk, right? You know, and just to just literally talk about how there's this absolutely diametric message, which is be more of yourself, but as long as it fits within the algorithm. Like, be uncontrived, be genuine, like, be free, be unfettered. But at the same time, if you don't fit this one trend and this one... See, so people are developing this sense of, like, what the fuck do I do? So Art... Oh, there she is. Hello. See the...
came up.
Yeah. Well,
Little Bones. This is the big long-haired one.
Yeah.
But I have a tiny small one that named the Clone, who's like really small. But
okay.
yeah, I mean that's the thing is like that's why I feel like there's so much mental illness actually. From like I feel like people maybe even have like a supportive or positive experience growing up, but then go out into the world and then realize how competitive and strange and hard and brutal and cold and detached and disassociated like the general population is or the world is.
Yeah.
And then they develop like mental illness about not measuring up, not being enough, not being beautiful enough, not so you like the entirety of your life in this sort of Western civilization anxiety prison, mental prison, and I'm in it frequently. I mean, like no amount of being aware of shit equates to the action of fighting it off. Especially for somebody like me who grew up desiring acceptance and attention from my parents, but who were like too preoccupied with their own suffering to give it to me. So then I'm perfect. I'm primed perfectly to go out and be a capitalist soldier. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's interesting when somebody says, man, you do so much art. It's so cool. It's this, it's that, it's all this, like, it's really amazing. And I think to myself, like, it's so cool that it comes off that way. But in the same moment, like, my career and my life feels like it's mostly me trying to just figure out what the fuck I should be I want to do or do while I'm putting out like a ton of artwork in order to like pacify my need to create and also pacifying the need to make money and then pacifying like the need for acceptance so it's like it's a very complex issue to do it and there's very few actual moments in my creative career where somebody goes, hey, I really like what you do. I really believe in you. I really believe that you have like a lot in you. And I would love to see that come out. And that's an old school kind of, way of like when somebody would have money and they would come to an artist and be like, I want you to do what you do. Yeah. And then you're a genius, or whatever. I'm not saying I'm a genius. I'm saying that's an old school way of things that happen that don't totally happen like that anymore. Now it's sort of like, can you do my band shirt? Can you do this? Can you paint a mural like that artist Tristan Eaton? He's the greatest. He's so fucking incredible. And then like, but even still, like in the giant corporate jobs he gets, he's still like doing like Universal Monsters or something. You know what I'm saying? But it's his way, but it's still under the guise of like doing art for a large company or a corporation or whatever. That's why there's a strong stratification between an artist who does sort of like corporate design work and then somebody like Alan, aka Medusa Wolf, who has a vast world, an expansive world inside of his imagination that he does on his own, but is preoccupied with the creativity of it instead of preoccupied with the success of it.
I get you. Yeah, absolutely. And
so it's like that's how it is. And so like I've kind of like been able to sort of crack the code, but not totally, because it's like if if I just sat and did like ultra expansive, nightmarish, psychedelic fantasy art, like just giant paintings that are like completely insane, like whatever. First of all, nobody'd probably ever be able to afford those paintings. Like they rarely ever do.
Thank you.
I'm not saying it's impossible, but the only way you can make money off is like to sell prints.
Yeah.
So again, you're kind of relegated to the idea of like the blue collar, like the blue collar population, instead of like the museums, because a museum is not going to look at what I do as like a valid form of art that could be placed in those in the canon of fine art or whatever. You know what I mean? Because like even Robert Williams is not.
No, yeah, for sure.
That.
And the way that the way that I see that you've approached it is that, again, I really see in your art not just a sense of eclecticism, right, but a sense of of impending death is always just in the essence of impending death, and it is this implicit, there's death imagery, there's a lot of skulls, and there's a lot of dreadful monster. So what you're doing is you're saying, please be. Oh, you're all good. What's up?
I'm good.
You're all good.
I had to turn my phone off. Sorry.
My man, that's cool. Also, little emphasis. I myself have really, since my army stuff, like I had to really cut out a lot of like extra fat of like, I would let myself get walked on a lot. So everything you said about like the emphasis on the value of time, like we couldn't be more at a point of resonance on that point. And the very fact that you've, I got a bit caught up actually talking to Ray about you agree. I won't belabor the point, but the fact that you are setting up.
It's fine.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
Okay.
Tell me I'm great.
No.
Tell
You're
me
just.
I'm good.
You're the G. You are the G man, and I appreciate it. Okay.
I'm the gangster.
You're the gangster.
Love.
You're the gangster. You're the
Wait,
gangster of
okay,
love.
wait. I want to hold
All
on
right.
before you continue to give me
rattle on.
Nice things. What was the you went into the army? Is that the deal?
Yeah. So I was left out on a firing range in 2007. I joined the army out of this sense of feeling bad for my dad because I wanted to be creative and I wanted to join the circus actually. And my sister had joined. Yeah, my sister had joined the Navy, and I sort of was. Yeah, like gearing up to going to this field, which was like 60% unemployment, like contortionist. So I trained to be a contortionist, and I was doing all that, and I could just see, how the parents, as you said, they didn't have enough time, and so all I would get from him was just sort of indifferent / passive aggressive like body language, and yeah, there's a whole thing there. But basically, I joined out of pity for him because I could see that I could recognize that he couldn't really do the parenting father thing. So I was like, you know what, I'll submit myself to the universal father, as it were, or that commanding kind of authoritative masculine teaching space, which is the army. I'll complete that step for you and then simultaneously make you proud of me. I am not an army guy. Like, I'm a creative dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't seem like an army guy to me.
That's right. I like your army shirt too. I like we're just discussing ironies. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
My man.
This is the only thing that I when my dad died, this was the only thing I inherited, was this like army jacket. Well, he never went into the army. He was like, he would have been like a drugged out, like, he would have skipped out, like a draft dodger guy. Okay, so you went into the army.
Yeah.
And so that's not like in Australia. You're in Australia, right?
Yeah. So that was
in Australia. They don't force you to go into the army, right?
No,
like,
it was voluntary.
Okay.
Yeah, and so it was because I was an empath
for a couple years, and you're like, all right, like this sucks.
Yeah, I didn't gel with the culture, and I just found, and I can hack a few c words, and like we swear on this, so that we're like can't this, fucking can't that. I'm like, because that's the Australian culture, and it's cool, and like I appreciate it. It's like we have sayings like, man, we're not fucking spiders here. Which is like, we're not fucking around. It's like a really weird. Yeah.
That's all right.
You can
that's kind of obscure, but I like that.
You can use that one. If
fucking spiders. Here.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
Fucking spiders, man.
It's like we're not. Fuck, exactly. Fucking. Yes, that's right.
I like it because I listen to every once in a while. I listen to like Jim Jeffries.
Yeah, we love him. This is a Jim Jeffries
he's
house.
The best. He's hilarious, but he said, I was listening to a podcast, and he was saying like, when he goes back to Australia or when he goes to England or something, anywhere that has an accent like that, he like really leans into it. He's all, I noticed like, he's like, I noticed I just started cussing like crazy and
Yeah.
leaning into it and like, you know, I was like, yeah, it's because you're back, you know, you're back home or whatever.
That's right. So
But the thing I want to say is that, like, so very rarely do you get a patron. That's what it is. A patron who's like, hey, I want you to be creative. I want you to, you know, because the idea in the past would be like you get patronage or you get like artists, gallery owners that would believe in you and say, hey, I think that we could nurture your career and your talent by giving you space to get really, really good.
Yeah.
And then we'd all stand to make some money, of course. Well, that was cool, but like the cover for Once More Around the Sun, I felt was an opportunity where I knew I was going to make enough money that I was going to be able to spend like a month or so or, you know, painting it. Yeah. So it was really like one of the first moments in a couple years that I was able to spend a bunch of time painting it. And so like I went and bought, you know, they were like 2 foot by 2 foot pieces of wood panel. Nice. And then I just put them all together and then sketched it all out and drew it. And you could kind of see like the process in the book. There's a process.
Yeah, I love it. And Asleep in the Deep. So again, you are strangely pervasive through. Like you've weirdly, when I came across your art, I was like, so Skinner was weirdly present in my Italian childhood. So there's this program. You should look it up. It's called L'Albero Azzurro. Right? It means the blue. The blue tree, right? And it's basically our equivalent of like Barney, the dinosaur. And in Australia, there's a program called Play School. And, you know, there's also that video back from the Hunter time with the, you know, Deathbound, all the sort of puppets around. But when I was reading your blog about the Jodorowsky kind of Joseph Campbellian kind of aspects of that story, it is single-handedly like... especially the frog priest. Like I want to see, and I messaged you. I think one of the first things we messaged about was like, I need to see a Skinner video game. I need to. Like there's
that would be cool.
Yeah. So and I've been tagging like that game company and a couple people I know because I do a bunch of. Yeah. Because I was like, imagine if you took really this sweet Psychoscape, right? Because also black, like your space is black. And then you bring color into that very much like the Big Bang, which I love, you know, because it's very true. Cool. And starting from black, I start from white, but starting from black is a straight up acknowledgement of like, yeah, we return to void. Guess what's behind everything? Void, void, void. You know.
Sure. Yeah. So party in the void when you're gone, man.
You're a light in the void.
Yeah. I started. I did some artwork for this Red Fang video that just came out like 3 months ago or 2 months or something, like maybe, I don't know, but my friend Ansel Wallenfang asked me to help and I was like, yeah, sure, here you go. And then but during the process of making that video, I went to I kind of got to working with this other guy who makes artwork into like 16-bit or 32-bit graphics. Awesome. Like old school Sega and stuff like that. And so I kind of was like, hit him up after the video and I said, hey, so do you want to collaborate ever on anything? And he's like, yeah, sure. And I said, what if we make like a fake video game intro to like an old game and maybe we could make a game if people thought it was cool, you know? And he's all, oh, okay, cool. So he's working on that now. I gave him all the art, but
dude,
it's called Flesh Haunted Lords.
Okay, I'm so fucking sorry. I'm Italian, and when I'm really excited, I like hit and I yell. I'm like, fucking, this is so cool.
You can hit and yell.
I will. I'm hitting the computer. I'm hitting it. Right. Okay.
Hit.
So no, dude, I can see in my mind's eye the Sega Mega Drive like cartridge of that. Like, oh my god, so good.
It'll be cool. It's about a castle, a medieval castle, where the royal family that occupies the castle and owns the village, the feudal area there. They're like decadent assholes, generations of like perhaps inbred fucking people, but they also are into the occult.
Yep.
And they summon open this portal and all this crazy titan evil creatures and titans and monsters and stuff come through, and the energy comes through and transforms the castle and transforms all the peasants in the feudal village into like ghouls and shit. So
Perfect.
the idea is that, and then so those demons enslave the royal family and keep them in cages.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happens is you get to pick, like Golden Axe, you get to pick from one of 3 mutated peasants. And so you have to go back and try to take back the castle with each level, and you have to like go through the level, and then you fight the evil titan at the end, and then when you defeat them, and then you free the royal family member, and then you eat them, and then you get more power, and then when you beat the game, then then the castle, everything transforms back, and it turns into like a socialist utopia where all the peasants get to like split all the stuff. So.
Okay, you're not fucking around, man. You're with it. And so I mean, fuck, that's so fucking intense. So you know what that reminded me of? You know, in Fantasia, you know, I'm sure it's your favorite sequence too. The Night on Bald Mountain. That
Sure.
sequence. So I want to see a Fantasia type thing. I think Planet of Doom is going to be a bit like that. I've been chatting with Tim Grander, actually. Love Planet of Doom.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. It's taken for days, but they're doing it.
They're doing
taking
it.
their time.
But so I fucking need to see that. I'm hitting you up for the collector's whatever fucking edition of that. Full-time patron, man. If this was the like Middle Ages, I'd be like with my fucking stockings and shit. I'd be like, continue your work, sir. And
there
if
you go.
Exactly.
I love it.
If you might maybe look upon my own works, sir. You know?
Yeah. Well, I think it's
It's cool.
That would be fun. That would be like a hilarious sequence.
Yeah.
Like, the patron who's like
Yeah.
always trying to he supports all these artists, and then he shows them his work, but his work is like really weird or something. Like,
Yeah.
But the fucking artist can't be like, it's not good, because like he gives them money.
Yeah.
Damn, that's like fucking a Saturday Night Live.
Right there. It's like, yeah. You know, I've been looking at you. I've been inspired by you, and look at this, and it's like, yeah, cue laughter. But you know.
No. But your artwork's cool. I'm not saying that.
Oh no. Totally.
But I think that like the medieval, like the Salieri.
Yes, that's right.
What I mean?
That's what I'm joking about.
Yeah, man. I don't know. It's just doing art, doing monsters. But
Yep. No, but okay. All right.
Braun
Yes.
was the one who allowed me that space to do that painting, that artwork.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There you go. Bringing us
More
back.
on the Sun. Like he offered that. He asked me if I'd like to do it, and actually, like this is like how I remember it. But I became friends with him. I was painting a mural at Adult Swim in Atlanta
Nice.
Years ago, and then I had become friends with Tim.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I'll just start from the beginning really fast.
Go for it.
My friend Donnie, Dirty Donnie Gillies.
Yes.
Okay, Donnie Gillies, who did like a lot of that stuff for Metallica. He was supposed to be in that Metallica documentary, but I think he's in the extras on the DVD.
That's awesome.
So he's a great artist, and then he interviewed me for Pork magazine, which used to come out of Portland years ago, that Sean Aberg did all the art and everything for. Then Donnie comes up to visit me so we can go see Melvin's in Sacramento. That's where I used to live, Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
And he brings Tim, and so Tim, why did I forget his name?
That's cool.
Tim Moss. Jesus.
Right.
I was going to call him Tim Root. See, this is a problem. I know so many fucking people in my memory banks. So Tim Moss comes over and looks at all my paintings, and he's like, damn, dude, this is crazy. And he buys a painting. So then I go and bring the painting to his house in San Francisco like 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
And he goes, and I say, hey, I'm going to Atlanta to paint a mural and stuff. And he goes, you got to meet my friend Braun. And so he gives me Braun's phone number. So I text Braun when I'm out there. Braun comes and picks me up in his truck.
Yeah, buddy.
And I was like, this is awesome, man. This is great. You know, we were blasting music, and it was so cool. And we just hung out, and then kind of became friends. And I would go to Atlanta to go to the zombie apocalypse simulator that my friend, that Shane, the guy who helped me with the Asleep in the Deep video. This was before.
Whoa,
so
what a trip.
Tied together. Yeah.
Everything's connected.
I go to the Atlanta zombie apocalypse thing at his art studio which is an abandoned trucker hotel in
Yep.
Atlanta.
Mhm.
Very creepy fucking place. So I go there and I meet Shane. They introduce me to Shane, and Shane goes, "Oh man, we gotta work on something together one day."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah, man, that would be cool. I would love that. Whatever that could possibly be. I don't know."
Yep.
So then I become friends with Braun and stuff, and then I come back like a year later, and I'm just kind of friends with him. You know, I do like a shirt design and stuff, and a poster and stuff. And then he goes, I wake up in the morning. He's like, he makes me coffee and shit. We're like hanging out there with his dog and his cat, and and he goes, "Hey, we're gonna do this album. We're doing this new album. You know, it's coming out, and it's called Once More Around the Sun, and like the idea is like the cycle of like life and death and things is the big picture of stuff, because he really thinks in that sort of like large scale universal sort of style. He's very smart, fun guy. I love him. And then I go,
Same.
"Oh, dude, I don't know, man. Are you sure I'm the guy? I don't know."
Yeah.
Because I felt very insecure, you know, and I was like, "Dude, what about that dude Mars One? He's really good." And I was like, "I don't know, man. I feel like, are you sure? I feel scared." And he's like, "Nah, man, it's gonna be fine. Like, you'll do great. It'll be fine."
Yep.
And then I was like, "Well, I'm super stoked, but I have like a giant fear of not measuring up." So I was like scared as fuck, you know. And then I go back to Oakland, where I live now, and I was like, "All right, I guess I got to start working on this thing, you know." And so I sort of drew it out. And the thing is that having artistic freedom, I mean, working with bands is traditionally a nightmare.
Yep.
And people should know that it's a nightmare, because you got like 4 dudes or whatever in the band, maybe 5, maybe 3, and they all like have their idea of stuff, and they all, you know, it's like you just want one really cool person in the band to kind of be the conduit through which you're doing your stuff.
Yeah.
And if you're lucky, you get to meet somebody with the capacity to understand and appreciate creativity like Braun. Like,
he focuses
has a
the prism.
strong,
Yep.
Yeah, he has a strong connection to what it's like to feel free creatively, and that it's necessary to do something great. And that's my experience anyway. So like I was like, wow, okay. So I just started to draw it out, and then I was all worried, so I would just send him you know, photos of the sketches and stuff, and he would say, "Yeah, it looks good, man."
Yeah.
Like,
and see what I mean?
It was never like, "Oh, that's weird. Like, what? Like, I don't know." Like, you know, it was always just sort of like,
I don't know,
wow,
man.
looks cool.
I'm just feeling okay. And again, I'm an empath, so I'm gonna, as they say, talk some sugar to you, right? Just take it this time, right? So,
All right.
so the very fact that you have this sense that, like, okay, well, this sense of, I don't know, the doubt, okay? Jung. I'm into Jung right now so fucking hard. He was like, my life is defined by 2 things, knowledge and doubt. And I like to seek knowledge, but I'm always doubtful. So then I seek more knowledge, but I'm always doubtful. And what is that? That is the fluctuation between positive and negative atoms. He's alive. Skinner, you're alive. You've chosen. I also read 1984 recently. I came home like crying, hugging Ray. I was like, let us never ever reach a point where we're satisfied or complacent. Jesus fucking Christ. And that's what I sense, and that's why this episode is called Expressing Universals, because the universe, guess what? It's in constant fucking flux between life, death, form, void. And that's Mastodon, and that's why you guys resonated. And I hope to see you do more shit, man. Like, I want you to do album number 20, album number 30. You know what I mean? Like, there has to be...
Well, I mean, the thing is like, I would love to. I think the thing is that, you know, finding the time to do stuff, like there's certain stuff like really connects at the right time, you know. And I need to be doing more, I think, like actual experimental style painting like I've done before. Like I've done a ton of that before, but like I really feel like I've kind of neglected that part of my creativity.
But again, you talked about
a little while. I mean, it just changes. It's like I'm just constantly like changing and shit. And I do understand what you mean about like seeking knowledge, but then being full of doubt, because there is an interesting tension with like I feel a lot of doubt and a lot of fear around trying new things, but I am constantly trying new things. So like I'm always like sort of, I don't know, torn apart by the like excitement / just fear of falling on my face, you know?
Well,
and like if you talk to a lot of people, they'll say that's exactly where you're supposed to be.
Well, Joseph Campbell, he said the treasure you seek is in the cave you fear, right? That was his deal. And I've been trying to, again, when I read your book, it's you know, at the start you say like I had to really sort my shit out, and 2012 was that for me. An accident happened in 2007. I didn't get shot, like actually hit or anything, but like they laughed and they kind of made it worse, because in the army it's like just laugh it off, man, and they tried to hide it and shit. You can look it up in the news and shit. It's like young Australian man gets forgotten about on fucking firing range, and so I had to, but I defined myself by that, and I had to actually recognize some of the self-deceit that I was doing and deceiving of others, because here's the thing, like, okay, some bad shit. This is, if you ever do some work for The Sword, JD Cronice, the fucking, I want to speak with him soon as well on one of the shows.
Sure.
But he said, like, he would be, he's from Austin, Texas, with his guns everywhere. He's like, yeah, but you weren't shot, though, right? You didn't get hit. And and I just laughed. I was like, that's true. And you don't want to make light of PTSD from like the psychological point of view, because I did legitimately suffer. But at a certain point, guess what? Like the universe is like your nails right now, your hair is just growing. So you have this core energy that's constantly moving. So then to try and belabor and stay defined by one thing and like live in that victim space and that wound space, it's like your body rejects that. It's like, can you just kind of like, not invalidating your pain, but can you move on? Because you're meant for bigger things than just living from this fear. And I reached that in 2012.
I think having that,
yeah,
there is something about being resilient and being tough.
Yeah,
but it is like such a fine line to not like unnecessarily dwell on the pain or the whatever, and kind of go into the martyr state or the sort of like victim thing. But then there's also this place where you don't want to like move past the process of it, like to be like, oh, that kind of sucked, like, oh, that felt shitty or whatever. I've definitely struggle with like, it's like I feel pain, and I think I'm just crushing sort of depression,
dude,
and
you and me both. You and me fucking
stuff. So, yeah, I know. I can tell you do too.
Yeah,
you're intense. You're neurotic as hell.
Thanks, brother.
But it's all right. It's not bad.
Thanks.
It's like it just is. And I think that like the thing is that holding the burden of depression and anxiety and like and not knowing exactly how to process it, and reading about it and learning about it and going to therapy and trying to figure it out and being very cerebral about it. Is like what Ram Dass says, just like stirring the pot of shit, you know? But it's like there's such an urgency to deal with it if you're at all trying to preserve your life.
Yeah.
You know, if you're trying to preserve like your relationships, if you're trying to preserve your friendships or, you know, your career or whatever you've built, if you're trying not to ruin it, it's just very difficult because we attack things cerebrally. That's how you figure things out, and that's how you work out things.
Hey, what up?
What's up?
I know, it's Australia, brother. We got oceans, so many fucking whales and squids and shit just being like the distance between us, but we made it.
Did the whales interrupt our call?
They fucking did. It's because they're sick of our shit, and Gojira are sick of it as well. And you need to do some work for Gojira. Would you like to work for Gojira one time?
I don't, I'll be honest, man. I would be honored to work for, you know, all these bands, but I kind of am preoccupied with things that I've started to do for myself.
I dig it.
Making films and working on stop motion, horror, fantasy stuff. And I wrote like a short horror film. It's actually very Campbellian or Jungian. Yeah, it's
good.
It's called it's basically a film about the rite of passage that I think is like frequently missing in our culture now.
Yep.
But has also, I think everybody has relegated it to being like one thing that happens in your life, where I feel like we have tons of rites of passage through our life where it's like a moment where you learn to be self-reliant and that you fight your way through, and that the thing that was really, really difficult becomes just another thing that you've accomplished or gotten past in your life or whatever.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So that's a horror film. I just had it storyboarded by the great Pete Von Schally, who's been storyboarding and doing stuff in Hollywood for like decades.
Fucking A. So what's his name again?
Like,
that sounds...
Pete Von Schally.
He sounds like a fucking horror movie character himself. And in Brisbane one time, I created a sculpture called Darth Shred Vegas Von Bladder, and it was this installation art that mixed like psychedelic shit with like a Darth Vader mask and shit. And but can you please release that on VHS, because it sounds like it belongs on VHS?
VHS, of course. I'll take a time traveling machine. No, but you know what's interesting is with Darth Vader is there was when I was in high school, I was in this history class, political science or history or something, and there was a teacher there, and they had a new teacher came. This woman came to, like, she was becoming a teacher, so she was like getting like substituting for this guy to try to get better and better and better.
Yep.
So I had been kicked out of a previous class. I got kicked into this class, and everything was fine. I was working with the teacher. I liked the teacher. He was chill. He was actually an ex-NBA player. Like, he was this really weird old dude. Yeah. And this woman teacher, and like, I thought she was pretty cool, but after a couple of days, she started to, like, in my mind, I felt like she was trying to like overcompensate by being like super disciplinarian.
Oh.
And so, and like on people, like, hey, because like she's a substitute, so she's like she's like, hey, I'm gonna be taken serious in here, or whatever.
Yeah.
So I immediately was like, fuck that, hell no.
Bye.
So I was like just antagonistic and stuff, but I was super smart and bratty. So like I got like straight A's and shit. It was like, it was public school. It wasn't very hard, But I remember just being like very antagonistic to her, like, where like I would just challenge everything, like whatever, because she was being I thought she was being fucking kind of rude and crazy, like, and I mean, I probably was wrong, but then they kicked me out of that class.
Shit.
And then I was like, what? I got kicked out. Shit. And then I went back into the class I was initially kicked out of,
Yeah.
And then what happened was, about 2 years later, I was in a comic book shop, a comic book and baseball card shop, and I saw the teacher guy that she was substituting for, and I was all, hey, I got kicked out of that class. What happened? He's all, oh yeah, you know what happened was she started having reoccurring nightmares about you, that you would come in the form of Darth Vader.
Oh, and holy shit.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that sucks. I think maybe I just went too far then or something. But
yeah,
I just felt like, when you're young and you're like, you sense injustice, or if you sense like that people are being like rude or whatever, like, and you just go, well, I'm gonna fucking challenge this authority, fuck
that.
So, but that's my cool Darth Vader story.
That's amazing. I love it. And you know what? I think people tuning into the Mastodon podcast might be like, hey, let's riff about that. And to them I say, we are fucking tangent takers of the universe, so fuck off.
Yeah, what you want to talk about? You want to talk about Mastodon stuff?
Let's
talk about it. They're the best. They're great.
They're great. But here's the thing. Here's, again, with Skinner and with Mastodon, and with my stuff, I try to always... And like life as well, you really shouldn't separate your life too much from your art. In fact, the most authentic way... And that's why people got up in their face about, like, why aren't you making concept albums anymore or whatever. And it's like, you have a constant duty to yourself and to the moment and to truth to always just follow your... and John Dyer Baisley from Baroness says that it's like, I can't create that I can't contrive. That's where the word try comes from, to contrive, right? And you need to channel your own actual experiences, and I call them my fucking bro uncles. And bro dads, because they're dads now, you know what I mean? And that led to this reflection. And I want to say, like, out of all of the album light concepts, I mean, you probably read the one that I've been doing the album summaries leading up to the chat. Did you read that one? About the charnel ground and like the time of testing, and yours was, a transience album. Yours was after the pyre has been made in the woods, which was the hunter, and they sort of reinserted themselves into this life and void space. I'm sorry, but like you got fucking summoned to adventure, and guess what? Like a fucking Joseph Campbellian motherfucker, you refused the call. You were like, nah, man. Do you remember you downplayed it? It's like, I won't do this. But you were faced with like the album concept for Once More Around the Sun is the most abstract, I think. Life and death is about as big and fucking wide spanning and all encompassing as it gets. And you were tapped upon by the little old woman in the swamp, Bran, just like, you must go on this journey. I don't know why an old woman came to mind, but he's
that's okay.
Yeah.
He would like that.
Yeah, he's a hag.
He would see himself. No, I think that's funny. It's like, it's sort of like every movie thing where like they go, we got to go solve the equation of life and death or whatever, and the guy's like, I can't do it.
Yeah, I know.
I can't do it, man. And they're like, you have to do it. And you're
that's
like,
right.
All right. But meanwhile, mine was like this sort of mundane, like sipping my coffee all hungover, like, what? Like, I don't know, man. Like,
that's right.
Are you sure? And he's like, yeah, I'm sure. I'm like, all right, I guess I'll try.
That's
like,
right.
It wasn't like fucking Avatar.
Oh no, absolutely.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, and I actually, it is kind of cool. It is kind of like cool and refreshing to look at things through those lenses, and like, and just really see it that way. I felt like I was seeing life through those lenses a lot more, but my problem came when I would work really, really hard, and I would bust my ass to like get, to do the thing, to do the hero's journey.
Yep.
And then it didn't work. And then I was like, oh, okay, so this is supposed to not happen. And like I think the thing is that you see things through that lens where you're like, okay, it's very mapped out. It's very linear.
Yeah.
But life is not linear.
It's not. Look at my fucking patterns. That's the whole point of my shit. Is it's all asymmetrical. Yeah. Jung talked about that.
So like I was agonizing over trying to figure out like what part of my failure is a part of my success. Yeah. And I think it's like even just having that mode, that psychological perspective of like being like, oh, seeing things as failure or seeing things as this or that or whatever. It's like sometimes life just doesn't make sense. Things don't make sense. Like you try really hard and then it doesn't work, and then you're just like, and then you just realize like, well, like I had some show idea that I tried to get through with Adult Swim, and they were like really into it. And then I sent them my script, and they were like, "Oh, we don't know about this." But like, what they don't know is that I had entirely shifted like my career. Like I shut down my web store. I got everything all ready. To
jump onto that.
To shift into like making this show and to do this thing. And like they didn't know that, and it's not really their fault. You know what I mean? It's not.
I get it.
But it's like, but like I completely am like, okay, this is what I'm doing. I want to do this. This was after I put out the High on Fire Black Plot video with Hey Beautiful Jerk, and like I was like, cool. I really want to do animation. I want to do narration. I want to do storytelling. I want to do world building. And then like it just didn't work. It didn't go anywhere, and I was like, oh, okay. I guess it's time to do this. And then I just started to think like, I don't understand, because I was really given no fucking reason. Notice.
Yeah.
So I was like, your mind tries to figure it out, and so like what I realized was like, I'm put in this position where I'm super cerebral. I can problem solve like a motherfucker. Like I can be like 10 steps ahead of most people I work with on like what we need to do, how we should do it, what like I can really figure it all out. And then I was in this position where it was like,
threw you a curveball.
Okay, none of your skills work here.
Wow, that's humbling.
So and I went into like this crazy depression for a long time, and I was like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? I don't know, whatever. And like, so what's interesting though is that like I've built up to this place where I'm like doing my own stuff, doing my own stories, and not having my goals and dreams and ambitions be through the gatekeepers of other people or other institutions or something.
I get it.
So so I'm kind of like, well, maybe this is sort of like what was necessary, I guess. But it still doesn't take the like sting out of that.
Well, I need to fucking tell you something right now. Do you know I'm speaking to Miles Langlois tomorrow? He is the creator of Apollo Gauntlet, right? He created that shit out of fucking nothing.
He did it on his own.
He did it on his fucking own.
Right? And then they said, we want to make this show, and then they made the show, and then it wasn't really popular, and now it's just...
It's this fucking thing, exactly.
Yeah, but he doesn't... But, like, does he even own it anymore?
That's the thing. So the web series is his. I'm going to absolutely... Like, you're welcome to jump in, man. I could see you guys fucking collaborating like crazy. You know, because...
That would be cool.
Yeah, because you've got this, like, you know, outlandish. It's fantastic. It's, like, fantastical. But then he has this guy who talks in this
It's very
Canadian
dry.
accent. Yeah.
And I like it.
Exactly.
I watched it on adultswim.com or on
the
computer because I was like, well, let me check this out. And I was actually in the animation studio while they were making it.
Well,
I was checking it out
rad.
while it was being built. But like, I think that's the thing is like, so he made his show, and that's the other thing is that like, I feel like so much anticipatory focus comes too because like say I make this show, well guess what, maybe you make like a few episodes and everybody like completely hates it because it's so weird. Well, maybe I like it and that's fine, but like then what? You know what I mean? It's like I think that like in our mind it's like if we think that this thing that we're working for just gets done, it's gonna make us happy. Yeah,
no, I get it. Hinging. It's like in, you know, Ray and I, and she doesn't know, obviously, doctor, patient.
Focused, what is that?
It's fixation.
It's this term that my wife brings up.
Is that Christy? By the way, shout out to her. And I'm designing you guys symbols. Like, I do that for people I resonate with. I'm going to design.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's the best. Dude.
Absolutely.
She's wonderful.
Little
she
shout out.
actually makes a difference. But it's called fixated hope.
Okay, I get it.
It's a term called fixated hope, which is sort of like looking at the sky through a straw. And just seeing the sky, but not seeing everything else.
Yeah.
And it's like say if your friend is sick or something. And you just freak out, and you're just like, oh my God, I have to get them better. They have to get well. They have to do this. And then all of a sudden, like, your entire life is completely fixated on this one small thing.
Yeah.
And so all your happiness and all your success and all your beliefs and all your love
becomes
and
conditional.
Your feeling about the universe and your feeling in life and all that stuff is completely predicated on if this one small thing happens.
Yeah.
And I fucking live my life like that so much. I'm
know.
a psycho, dude. I'm constantly like, if I could just do this one fucking thing, my life's gonna be better. And then all of a sudden I do it, and it's like, it's not better.
I know, but it's your strength and weakness, because it basically, think of it as you sharpening yourself to a point, right? You know, if you tried to make an art, if your pencil wasn't sharpened, like, it would look like shit, and so you sharpen it, but that comes at it comes at the cost of narrowing, and you need to narrow to achieve. So this is the masculine energy. So the feminine energy, circle, vagina, void. The masculine energy is piercing. It is the penis. No, it's true.
This is hilarious.
Yeah, dude. And so
okay.
Yeah.
So I think that feminine energy is process.
Yes.
Okay, and I feel like masculine energy is product.
There you go. I love that. Yeah, I'm gonna tell Ray about that. And that's right. And also a little bit, we'll talk about the Matrix and shit. But the ones and zeros, like all code can be reduced to ones and zeros. What's a one? A penis. What's a zero? A vagina. So, and what it is, you have a very dominant, and a very decisive. You have an extroverted aspect, but you're also, I would call you an ambivert, I think. But you have this sense of direction, and it's a bit bittersweet, because the irony of sharpening yourself and narrowing to one view is that you exclude other possibilities, because you need to do that. Otherwise, you'll be unfocused. But that focus comes at a cost with a slight sense of expectation. It's very hard to act with direction without expectation. You know what I mean? So, but
I am. The thing is that I am simultaneously collaborating and working on 5 projects that are just super insane all at one time. So it's good. maybe I've figured out some kind of bizarre fractured way of
productivity.
It's like I'm being productive, but it's more like I'm collaborating with people in this satellite way. This guy that I'm working with, Ross Kennedy, he's a sculptor and he does stop motion stuff. He helped me do these commercials for Adult Swim. Yep. We're working on this insane stop motion horror fantasy film, and I've been painting and illustrating and designing and all this stuff, but he's in his studio building it, making it happen, and then I go over, I build a bunch of stuff, I paint all the backdrops, I paint all the props, and I work with him and design shit, come up with stuff and paint. And then for the most part, I also think I've kind of when I collaborate with people, I also feel a lot of space. I create a lot of space for the other person too. That's great. Because I don't want to be some dominant it has to look like my stuff forever. It's all about me. It's all about what I do. Whatever. I just go, all right. Well, look, it would be cool. Here's my idea. Whatever. Go ahead, interpret it. Put your energy into it. Figure it out. Do your best. Make sure that you're happy and that you're doing stuff that feels good. Unless I'm paying you some exorbitant amount of money, I'm not gonna expect you to obey me or whatever. So I have this loose amalgam or
fusion,
a loose web of people that I work with that I'm just grateful for. Great. And so.
And I saw that in the book.
That's gotten me very, very far, is just allowing it to all happen.
I saw it. It's beautiful, man. And I saw it in the book. It resonates with as well as that unbridled kind of sense of urgent creativity. But there's just so much gratitude and catharsis. I mean, dude, if you weren't making this, you'd be killing people. I swear. You'd be a fucking same with my shit.
The other thing I think is maybe I would be helping food not bombs or something.
Yeah.
That's the thing is If I know that I'm helping people, then I feel at least I'm not wasting my time.
Yeah. Oh, I love this one. This is a bit of a Jabba happening right there in the corner.
Oh yeah.
Where is he?
Oh yeah, that one's scary, man.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, brother. So I might shove that in the thumbnail.
Man, we gotta get Alan to come on the show. He's so shy.
Yeah, motherfucker. I was just thinking about that. He's
so shy. He's he's a cute little shy guy
with his dogs.
I know, I'm trying, but the thing is that everybody has their own challenges. I guess their own sort of hero's journey. You know what I mean? And
that's right.
I also think that things are not nearly as bad as you think they are.
I fucking love you, man.
Alan?
Dude, no. You need to stay at my house if you're in Australia. Okay, we love you so much in this house because see how we spend a chunk of time talking about the meaninglessness, but guess what? It's not as bad. And you're just life. You're just a fucking bro. So thank you. You're a sincere, genuine fucking human being in this world of just fucking pretend. So. Yeah, amazing.
Dude.
Okay, what do you think of the?
Is there anything else you got? Any boiling questions before?
I do. So, what is the most creatively fulfilling aspect of apart from obviously just the creativity of itself? You've talked about collaboration. The thing is, dude, can I say this? You intuited where I was going with the chat. You didn't we just kind of covered a whole bunch. So I'm very conscious of your time. So we've been speaking for maybe 45 minutes, something like that. What have you got ahead for the day for yourself?
Let's see. What was I gonna do? Oh, I have a couple of I process all the orders of accents too.
I mean,
have like probably a very annoying. It's like somewhere between a California person and sort of like a mildly drunk Southern person.
No, man, it's cruisy, dude. Like, I fucking love your accent, man. It actually puts me at ease to, like, listening to you is, like, so calming, and it, like, puts me at ease.
No, because I go. It's so funny when I go to the East Coast too, because everybody's like, "What the fuck? Dude? What the hell is going on with this guy?"
That's crazy. All right, brother. Well, you bring it in. Just giant hug, awkward fucking hug. There you go, brother.
Awkward hugs. Right on. Well, let me know when it's up, and then I'll tell everybody to go listen and stuff.
Motherfucker, I'll put it out on YouTube in the borders, because you're vertical. In the borders of your chat, I'm gonna have your links and some links to your store and shit. Love you, man.
Oh. Thanks, bro.
You better believe it. Okay, lots of love to you from all of us in Australia, around the world. I'm sure I speak on behalf of us all, all right?
Thanks, man. Have a good one.
All right, take it easy, brother. Bye.
See you later.
Peace, man.
Bye.
Bye. What did I tell you? Like, a total bro, a kindred human being. What a G. So glad he exists. So glad he's making art. And best of luck and joy and love and kinship and support to the guy, honestly, on into his future, on into all of his creative endeavors. And as I mentioned at the start of the show, it will be great to jump back on and catch up on the reg if that's something that vibes with him and that he's available to do. But folks, if you enjoyed the episode, thank you, and I'm truly honored that you tuned in. If you wanted to support the show, you can head over to patreon.com/Albert Kesser and also patreon.com/Mastodon podcast. If you wanted to ensure that the show can kind of keep going, please like, share, subscribe, and hit me up on any of the Mastodon podcast social media. We're going to be diving into some really worthwhile mythological, psychological, spiritual territory with Mastodon, because they are, as we talked about in the episode, they have elected to be a nexus for this amazing, incredible, terrifying, harrowing, beautiful experience that is life in its entirety, 360 entirety. There's no narrowing of the scope. There is just intent. There is an embracing of eclecticism, and that is why I believe they are the most valuable force in heavy music in their sphere, and introducing other spheres. That's what they do, and they bring other spheres in contact with them. Again, they're this evolving, amorphous creature, which, again, like life, if you emulate life, and Joseph Campbell said this, if you bring your nature into alignment with nature herself, then that's bliss, that's meaning, that's fulfillment, and it's the truth, really, because why not just admit that it's like, people change and evolve and become even more beautiful and detailed, nuanced, textured human beings. And I truly believe folks like Skinner and Mastodon are going to continue doing what they do in earnest, with this sense of embracing everything that life brings to them through their collaborations with friends and fellow artists, and the travels they take and the books they read. And just always, if there's one thing you take away from this episode, keep absorbing from the world. Don't push it away, even though it might feel tempting to do that. Embrace your fellow creators, embrace your fellow human being. Spend time on yourself. If you don't fill the vessel, you can't pour into other people's vessels, and you can't share your gift with the world. So work on yourself as well, and especially if life is getting weirdly heavy or anything like that, if I may say, like Jung went through the exact same thing. He just picked up a pen, he picked up sometimes, and he was like, I'll never be able to dive back into that old way of thinking. It's like, no, the child represents, and you can see Skinner has this aspect of childlikeness to him, with his art. There's this exaggerated figures and outlandish adventures, and there's a childlike aspect to that. But guess what? That's why we ascribe so much, before they've been, as goes the saying, like corrupted by the world or anything. There's this instant engagement. And look, in any of Jung's teachings, he says the way that children think and the way that artists think is the way of life. It is the way of being in the flow and being in the moment, and not overburdening yourself with overthought and over deliberation. Sitting with things is important, and not being an escapist or a dilettante in excessive amounts is important. Immersion in the way that adulthood really allows us to do is truly important, but the core will always be this like flitting, ever interested, ever curious essence that you really must nurture, and it'll actually extend your life. So there you go. There are my riffs for today's podcast. After a bit of travel, I will endeavor to speak with Paul, actually, on the show, Paul Romano, who covered the albums Call of the Mastodon through to Crack the Sky. And that'll be a worthwhile, equally, I imagine, wide-spanning and in-depth reaching chat about his process and life and all these universals exactly. And that episode will be entitled Mythic Depictions, so you can look forward to that. Take care, everyone, and until next time, the end is not the end you see. It's just the recognition of a memory.